Our final presenter is a publicist at Vintage Books and a frequent contributor to Meet the Lady and I Love Bad Movies. He remembers his first true conscious foodgasm fondly, which occurred at Rocco's Bakery on Grand Street. Chicken Milanese with some smoky chipotle was the culprit. David Archer.
It's forward. Is the light kinder on this side? To my page. The fastest way to a man's heart is through his stomach. It's an adage with which we're all familiar, but what exactly does it mean, we might ask? On our worst days, myself included, we'd probably say that it has something to do with the animalistic man's primal need for food. And if a woman is able to provide for him, he will club her, drag her back to his cave, she'll make chicken paillard, and they'll live happily ever after. Luckily, you've caught me on one of my best days, and I'm here to tell you that this interpretation is absolutely in-fucking correct. Yeah, but now the real stuff. While Simply Irresistible is certainly a cousin of Like Water for Chocolate, I'm happy to report that it involves much less girl-on-girl crime. Our heroine here is a painfully miscast Sarah Michelle Gellar, who is the only mistake in this otherwise really well-done film. And that's not a joke. Our heroine here is shitty Sarah Michelle Gellar, who has inherited her mother's restaurant. Unfortunately, she's a little unsure of herself and incidentally a lousy cook. With the restaurant facing closure, all seems lost until Tom, a Henry Bendel exec from uptown on whom Amanda is sweet, comes in for lunch with his heinous girlfriend. Looking for inspiration, Amanda finds a pair of her mother's earrings, and while musing over the many words for delicious in the English language, accidentally improvises an exquisite dish for Tom that leaves him in ecstasy. His date, played by Amanda Peet, remember her, is less fortunate. An aggressively made chicken paillard sends her into a manic fit, first dumping Tom, then trashing the restaurant. Exit Amanda Peet forever. Empowered and all the more smitten, Amanda next makes a batch of caramel eclairs that infect their consumers with unbridled sensuality and lust. On the hook, Tom arrives at the restaurant with some vanilla orchids, and Amanda whips up a sauce that emits, naturally, a thick fog of passion. When Tom's associate Lois, Patricia Clarkson, absolutely killing it in an MVP role, samples an eclair, she knows they are just what she needs to finally ignite the loins of Bendel Chief Jonathan, Dylan Baker, her unrequited crush. Obviously, she's right. Also, can we just look at Patricia Clarkson making out with Dylan Baker? Do you want them to be your parents? I do. Things get off track when Amanda's empowerment starts to manifest itself in more nakedly magical ways, such as this floating peach skin and this floating Sean Patrick Flannery. Sure that his phenomena indicate that his affection for Amanda is simply a byproduct of her witchcraft and not genuine, Tom is intent on breaking things off. Amanda hoofs it up to Bendel's to make her case. In profile, maybe, for perfect Buffy face. My whole life was ordinary. And then we met and these amazing things started to happen. I can't explain them, and I know that bothers you. Tom, your whole life was full of spectacular stuff. But mine wasn't. For the first time, I feel like I can do anything. And I don't know if I need you to keep that feeling. But I know I want you. So bad. They wanted Parker Posey for the part, but the studio said, we need a name. Yeah. Tom is unswayed. But thanks to Bendel's new restaurant's 5-star chef abruptly quitting, Amanda is brought in as a pinch hitter to pull off the opening night's meal. Tom, of course, hates this idea. Overwhelmed by a hostile staff in the kitchen, Amanda realizes she has forgotten her mother's earrings at home and is convinced she will botch the meal, forever alienating Tom, but also proving that her newfound ability was a fluke. Pitifully, she weeps into her sauce. But I would like to point out that these tears are for Amanda's own sake and not wholly dedicated to Tom. In finding herself in the kitchen and revitalizing her mother's restaurant, she thought she had finally become the woman she'd hoped to be. If the meal is a disaster, she will not only lose Tom, but she'll also lose her hard-won sense of self. Amanda pushes through, though, and from a culinary standpoint at least, pulls off the meal. However, the dining experience is, intense. From her sorrow sauce, the diners weep openly over their unfulfilled desires. From the main course, made with focus, they are stunned into a serene trance. Thank God Betty Buckley, Grisabella, the glamour tertiary character, is on hand to explain. Everything you're feeling is going into your food! Bitch. By the time she prepares the baked apples for dessert, Amanda has torn down the wall of self-doubt entirely. She has resigned herself to having lost Tom. Unfettered by competing motives, she pours all of herself into this final flourish. Naturally, the food reflects that, releasing the diners into an unchecked communal expression of affection, but not lust. Perfect time for Amanda and Tom to reunite and float off into a sexy fog. While a good deal of Simply Irresistible is related to Amanda chasing Tom, the movie is really more about her finding her own way in the world, I promise. In the end, she needed neither her mother's earrings, an inspiring symbol of the potential and talent Amanda inherited, nor Tom to pull off the meal. Her happy romantic ending is just dessert. The true end of her journey was discovering the full ability of her inner self and learning to employ it constructively and productively to achieve her goals. So, sure, we are what we eat, but we are also what we cook. And by that, I mean we are what we put into the world. In an age of irony, post-irony, and glibness, it's so easy to forget that our every interaction can be a conduit through which our very selves travel and touch others. Sometimes it requires a little work to realize your full potential and to find what best expresses you, but it's in there, and people are waiting to receive it. So, let's put our best feet forward, gang, and don't forget to kiss the cook.
Again, our film podcast is Bonnie and Maude.
You can find it on iTunes, and please follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, etc.
Thank you guys so much. Good night.
What makes a great chef?